Hi, welcome to episode 518 of the Corner of Knit and Tea. My name is Laura. I'm also known as Fluffy Kira on Instagram and Blue Sky. I blog over at thecornerofknitandtea.com, and that's where this episode and every episode show notes will be. And I have an Etsy shop called The Corner of Knit and Tea, and that's where I sell my handspun yarns and knitting patterns. Hello, how are you? It doesn't matter how many times I go through that. I always blank and want to say Twitter and Instagram from all those years where old habits die hard. And then I think about Blue Sky and I want to say Big Sky, like Big Sky, Montana, and that's not right. And yeah, so that is where my brain goes in those 2 seconds where I start. I don't have anything written out. I just do it off the top of my head, and old habits die hard. So hello and welcome. It is Monday, April 21st. It is the day after Easter. If you celebrate, I hope you had a good celebration. We don't celebrate. I'm Jewish and my husband is not. Generally, we don't celebrate the holiday. Technically, I didn't think we were celebrating this year, but I have been finding plastic eggs full of M&Ms all over my house. I only found 1 or 2 of them. Yes, I only found 1 yesterday. I found 5 more today. Clearly, I'm not terribly observant, and I also didn't know we were having an Easter egg hunt. And I grew up Jewish, so we didn't do Easter egg hunts. So I would consider this pretty much the second year that I have celebrated Easter. The first was right when, fairly soon after Wes and I got married, we celebrated Easter with his mom, and his mom was like, "Oh my goodness, you've never ever had an Easter basket." Okay, if you don't celebrate the holiday, like, you don't actually feel that left out. Anyway, so she made me an Easter basket. I think I was 31 when I had my first Easter basket. And I didn't know we were celebrating, but I found 6 of these now, so I don't know how many there are. I keep asking him, how many more are there? And he's like, I don't know, the Easter Bunny hid them. So, and then I told him I thought that was kind of a little bit BS because, okay, I hope there are no small children around. If there are small children around, please move them out of the way or pause. I'm giving you enough warning for this. Okay, I assume the Easter Bunny is like Christmas where the parents do the work and give Santa the credit. Okay, anyway. So that is how our weekend has been. I hope that you are doing well. We had a really good weekend. I got a lot of crafting done. It was really kind of quiet. We got a few things done on Saturday and then just hung out. And then yesterday, because everybody was with their families yesterday, we just hung out, the 2 of us. We went out, we got lunch, and then we came home and I sewed and I knitted and I spun, and it was just a lovely day. The weather here has been so-so. It's been great crafting weather because it has been on and off rainy. It was super like gray and rainy yesterday and Saturday. Today it is sunny. It is still a little bit cool. It's like 50-ish. So it's been kind of cool and a little bit damp for the last several days, but I will take it because that is a nice spring day. I know we're supposed to have rain on and off throughout this week, and we're hoping that the chill, the chilly weather or cooler weather lasts through this weekend, which is the 3rd of the runs that Wes and I are due in the spring season. And so this coming Saturday, there's another half marathon and a 10K. He'll be doing the half marathon. I'll be doing the 10K. And currently it is forecasted to be about 55 degrees at the start and about 60 when we finish. And we are hoping that it stays there or even goes down a little bit because it is lovely running in nice cool weather and less fun running in humid weather. And so that's, although it will be humid because it's supposed to rain on and off all week. So that is what we're doing here, but lots of crafting, lots of little things to share with you. I feel like I didn't get that much done this week, but I do have lots of little bits. So I'll get to show you that. Today I am drinking coffee. This is a somewhat new to me coffee. It's called Hammer Hand Press, and it is a brand that is sold at our local coffee shop. And I bought a bag of coffee and made some this weekend, and it was absolutely lovely. And I went to make some more this morning, and that's when I found one of those plastic eggs in my I have one of those plastic it's not a coffee filter because you put the paper filter in it, but I have one of those plastic coffee sieves where you put it over the mug and then you put the paper filter and the coffee in there and you brew your coffee. And so I went to brew some coffee this morning and there was an egg in there with M&Ms. So like I said, I'm finding them in little places over the house. There was one in my pen cup on my desk. There was one, I have my, from when I was taking pictures, I have my, slip stitch cowl, the grid gambit cowl on the mannequin, and he like tucked one in there. I found one tucked into my sewing box. I actually didn't find it till this morning, which is really funny because I was sewing at my sewing machine yesterday. There was one under the TV. There was one in my spot on the couch. I feel like I might be coming to the end of them. I haven't checked all my shoes yet, and the only other place that I thought there might be is downstairs. Kind of, we have like a little bit of a gym downstairs, and like it's not officially a gym. We just have lots of equipment down there. We have both of our bikes and trainers. He has free weights, all kinds of stuff. And I have some small free weights down there. And I was like, I wonder if you put one down there, but I haven't gone down there to check. So I feel like I'm coming to the end of them, but I don't know, because I just don't know how many there are. And I told him it was a really good thing he decided to hide plastic eggs, because if he had decided to hide real eggs, this could be a lot smellier. Anyway, so I'm drinking coffee today. It is just a regular coffee. And I will put a link in the show notes. It's delicious. And I am drinking it in my Alpaca mug, which seems to be my favorite mug right now. I heat the water in it. Okay. I heat the water in it in the microwave if I don't boil it on the tea kettle on the stove, which I don't as much, but the mug heats up, and it's really nice because then it stays warm in my hands. So, yeah, so that is what I'm drinking today. So today I have knitting, spinning, and a little bit of quilting. So let's start with the knitting. First off, I finished the hat. I know y'all are crazy surprised. This is, again, the June hat. It is a pattern by Kelburn Woolens, and these are leftovers. The variegated color in the teals and pink is, wow, I am just not going to remember. Hang on, I'm going to pull it out because I have a sticker. I have a sticker. I'm going to show you because I know what the yarn is. It was LL Yarn Co. It was the owner of Lorna's Laces, who then made her own yarn company, and she dyed her own yarn for a while. It is now closed, but it was something about a mermaid, and it was beautiful. It was a skein of DK weight, and then I contrasted it with the pink, which is Rosy Malabrigo Rios, which I have used in other hats, and I think this is the last hat for now. I did put I have a big tote bag full of leftover yarns. I still have plenty more. I could do plenty more hats, and this makes hat number 7 that I did as a donation, and so I think that's going to be it for now. I need to wash these all up so that they're ready to go in the fall. And I think that's going to be it for now because I have some other things I want to move on. That doesn't mean that the spirit won't take me at another point in time and I won't do more. I have plenty more scraps. So I've just been trying to work through some of those half balls and quarter balls of things left in my stash and turn them into things that will keep people warm in the winter. So, I did a good month and a half or so of that, and now I'm moving on to a few other things. So that one is done and out of the stash. And so the next thing that I worked on was I started working on just a little bit more of my chicken, which I showed you last week. And I don't have a lot because I guess I just didn't get to this as much this week. I've got about half. I'm still working on these garter strip ones where I am just working through whatever the hand spun I have left. I still have a bit left. I think I'm going to make this kind of a bigger piece, or I'll have one more after this. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm still using the Shetland, and then I'm just striping it with, this is Enchilada Night on Corriedale, and it is from Hello Yarn, and I spun it myself. And again, I'm just kind of striping this in here to create a bit of my chicken. I will bring all of the chicken bits back in another couple weeks to show you what all I have to work with, and then I'm going to take it to my friend at the chicken store and we're going to pin it up and see what it looks like. But I'm really enjoying working on this. Like I said, I'm kind of back into it. I have knit 3 more pieces since I picked it back up, and this will be the 4th, and I might possibly have a 5th. And then the last bit is that I'm going to spin the rest of the fiber that I have up as a 2-ply, and then I'm going to knit a bunch of pieces with that as well. And so that should finish off my chicken. And I still probably have, I have probably 8 ounces, and I don't know if I'll do all of that or exactly what I'm going to do, but that is next on my spinning wheel, and I will more or less get to that in the spinning section. I'm not going to show you again today, but I have that bag of fiber, and I am almost ready to do something with that. So this is kind of a project that will be on and off for the next month or two once I finish that hand spun. So what I did do is I went ahead and cast on for a new project, and that is Miles' birthday sweater. And I don't have a lot to show you because I worked on it just a little bit over the weekend, and I got to the point to where I am starting the color work. So basically, I haven't done any of the exciting part yet, but I did actually wind yarn, and I am knitting a Minecraft sweater for my nephew Miles for his birthday. His birthday is in October. He will be 9, and I am knitting the 8 to 10 size. This is a pattern that comes from, I believe, a Norwegian knitter, and so it is self-published. It is not like, it's probably not tech edited. It's not finished in the way that I would consider like American patterns to be finished. Like, it doesn't have all the traditional notes that an American pattern has, but it is written, it has been translated into English, and I will say that the instructions are sparse, but it is enough for me to pick up what I need to do. So it is a circular yoke, and it's got color work in the yoke for Minecraft, and then the rest of the sweater is pretty plain, and you start at the top with the ribbing around the neck, you do some short row shaping, and then you go right into the color work. And so I have prepped like the neck and the short row shaping, and I am ready to go into the color work, and then there are a series of increases throughout the yoke, and those are written in a way that is easy to follow, and then there are some charts in there that you can kind of substitute in depending on what it is you want to do. It's a little bit plug and play because they have a variety of shapes. If you're not familiar, Minecraft is a I could say it's a video game, but it's also like an online game, and you can play it collaboratively with other players. There are different parts to the game. Some is about building things and then tearing things down and gathering resources and rebuilding things. And then I think there are also more difficult, I don't want to say quests, but like other things that you can do in the game. I don't know a lot about it. And frankly, actually, neither does my nephew, because I don't think he plays that much. But Minecraft is all the rage, and there's a movie coming out. But the thing about Minecraft is everything is blocks. It's very much a throwback to like 8-bit graphics. Everything is cubes. And so it's really easy to do in knitting because, of course, knitting is just a grid. And so what the designer has done has actually taken a lot of the different shapes in Minecraft, which are cubes that are, I think she translated them to 9x9 stitches. And so there are a variety of different faces you can use. And I think I'm actually going to do exactly what's in the picture because I like it, and I think it's pretty cute. And I think it's it'll be perfect for my nephew. And I showed it to my sister, and she said she thought it would be great too. So basically I'm actually making it almost exactly like the picture, which is not really something that I always do, but in this case it works. So this is what I have started so far. Like I said, this is the ribbing at the top and then the short row shaping, and I am basically just about ready to start the color work. And so this is Malabrigo Rios, which I really, really love for the kids' sweaters. It is a superwash yarn. It washes. Okay, so if you are a knitter like me and you would prefer to hand wash your sweaters, you can certainly hand wash this, and it's great. It is a superwash, so it does grow a little bit, but you can hand wash this and treat it, just in wool wash and then air dry. But this yarn actually will stand up to being washed and worn. It does look a little bit different once you have thrown it in the washing machine and the dryer. It does get a little fuzzier. It's not as I don't want to say lustrous, like I can tell the difference once it has been washed, but it is a superwash yarn. It is intended to be washed and worn. And so that makes it easy for my sister and the kids. So this will be machine washed and worn. But this is Pearl 10, so this is the dark color, and this is from Malabrigo Rios, and I have a couple skeins of this, and I am alternating skeins every round because that is what I like to do with kettle dyed yarns, so that I don't get too much variegation. These are semi-solid colors that I have picked, but I do enjoy alternating skeins. And then the green for Minecraft, it's not quite as bright as the green that is used in Minecraft, but I couldn't find one that I liked that I wanted to use, and I wanted to stick with all the same yarns so that my gauge would be similar. And so this is Malabrigo Rios, and this is, I can't remember, Fresco y Seco. So this is the green, and that's going to be for the creepers and some of the other faces. And then there is a row where I'm using, this is pearl, this is just pearl, and this is the gray, and that's going to be used for the skulls. So they're kind of off-white gray, and I decided rather than using natural, I would go ahead and use the silver. So these are the colors of the sweater, and this is going to be the main body, and then everything else. And then I have the colorwork yoke, and the only thing I haven't decided is if I'm going to do anything on the sleeves. The pattern calls for the yoke treatment, but then the rest of the sweater is just plain. And so I haven't decided if I'm going to repeat something down at the bottom hem or if I'm going to put something on the sleeves. The other thing that my sister brought up was that my nephew loves Kirby, which is an old Nintendo game. And he's kind of a, I don't even know what he is, but he's like a ball and he eats things and then like grows. And I found a screenshot of Kirby in Minecraft. So it looks like Kirby, but he's square and he has feet and everything, and it's really cute. And so I might actually duplicate stitch that on one of the sleeves. I haven't decided yet. So I was pleased to get these skeins wound and get this started. And like I said, I'm ready for the first, the color work is done in 3 sets, and then there are also increases in there. So I'm ready to do my first color work set, and then the next round of increases, and then another color work set and whatnot. So I should have at least 1 color work set done by next weekend, maybe 2. And so that is what I will be working on for the next couple weeks, working through this. So that is the category of knits right now. I'm sure I will pick up something somewhere along the way because you know me, I can't resist picking up another project, especially when I have other projects. I am still working on my niece's blanket, so I am working on that a little bit. And I still have chickens that I am taking home and knitting on contract. The one this week is not exciting. It is brown and it is hairy and it has lots of guard hairs and vegetable matter in it, and it is not that much fun to knit. Usually they're better than this. But I am still doing that. So I still have knitting that I'm not showing you. It's just kind of happening on the side. I'll bring the blanket back in another week or 2 and show you what progress I've made. I am more than halfway done now. I am a good chunk of the way through the 4th skein out of 6. In terms of my main color, my contrast color requires just a little bit less. So I'm not quite, I don't think I've started the 4th skein yet, or I just started the 4th skein. I can't remember. But so I'm like closing in on 2/3 done on that blanket. And the plan is I want that blanket done by October for their 2nd wedding anniversary. So I do have things that I'm working on. I'm just not showing them every week because at least for that blanket, it's the same repeat over and over and over, and y'all get it. So let's jump quickly to spinning. I actually finished spinning something this week. Well, I shouldn't say I finished spinning it. I finished spinning the components, and now it's going to be time to ply. So I've been spinning for a combo spin, and the first bobbin that I showed you was this lovely kind of it's semi-solid green. To me, it reads almost like pea green or bright green, grassy green, but it has darker bits of green, and then it has some swampy bits in here. And this was Tarhi that I got from Treasure Goddess Yarns, and it was in the colorway Landlubber, and I spun this as part of a combo spin because I wanted to ply it with silk. So I finished the silk bobbin, and your eyes do not deceive you. These are differing amounts. This was 4 ounces. This is approximately 3 ounces or somewhere around there. This is 100% Tussa silk, and it was dyed in a variety of greens. It had lots of white in it where the dye did not penetrate the silk, and then it also had some areas where the dye deeply penetrated the silk, and she used kind of a lime citron color and then a darker green grass. And so I'm going to ply these together for as long as I have in this yardage. I will have extra on the green, and I'll probably just 2-ply that, or maybe I'll chain ply that to get it off the bobbin. I'm not concerned about it. My hope is that the finished skein will be about 6 ounces, and that will be a lovely amount for a shawl. It'll be nice and luxurious because it's got the silk in it along with the Tarhi, which is soft, and my hope is that it will give it a little shimmer and shine. It's a little bit hard to see on the bobbin, but I guess it's not, because it's kind of like that shine is not just the monitor blowing it out. It is actually a little bit shiny because it's silk. So it was actually really pretty easy to spin. It was in what I would consider sliver, which may not be the appropriate way to, it looked like it was sort of in roving, and all the fibers were combed the same direction, and well, I guess that would make it top, but it didn't act exactly like top, so I'm not really sure. But it was dyed, and silk is really long stapled, so it spun beautifully. It actually, I would have thought that it would be slippery and hard to spin, but it actually was not at all. It was really pleasant. Like, it doesn't have the give that wool has. Like, it doesn't have the springiness. So for instance, like when you're knitting it, it certainly doesn't, like, it is kind of what it is. It's lovely and drapey, but like it doesn't have a lot of give. It's not as hard as cotton in terms of like being hard on your hands, but it didn't have a lot of give, so there is that. But it spun actually really easy for being 100% silk. If you had told me that I would enjoy spinning 100% silk, I wouldn't have agreed with you, but it was very nice. It's a little bit slubby in parts, but I think it's just going to be really nice, and I think the combination of these two is just going to be a beautiful yarn. I think it would be great for a shawl. My guess is it's going to be a little bit barber pole or marled, but it's probably just going to kind of disappear into one long combination of yarn, and I think this would be great for a shawl or something really pretty. I usually ply it pretty firmly, but the silk will give it some drape. This will go in the shop. It will be a little bit more expensive because of the silk content, because 100% silk costs a little bit more, and of course it will be a 6-ounce skein, so it will be more than my regular, but it will go in the shop, and I think it would make a lovely shawl or other project, and I should have the yardage for that. Typically I get somewhere between 300 and 350 yards on my 2-ply sport weight skeins, and so my guess is that this will be probably closer to 500, maybe 550 yards. I'm not sure exactly. We'll just have to see how it gets there. But my guess is that it will be like another, well, that should be, because 350, half of 300 half is 150, and 350 half would be 175. So you're looking at 350 plus 150 is, or 300 plus 450. 450 to 500 yards would be my guess. 2-ply sport to DK weight. That would be my guess. Should make a lovely shawl. This week I will be working, once I ply those, I need to actually pull out my, so normally, or I have 2 spinning wheels. I think I haven't talked about this in a while. The main spinning wheel that I use these days is my treadle wheel, and that is an Ashford Joy. It is a double treadle wheel. It is small in frame, but I am small in stature. I'm only 5'3", and so I find that the wheel is lovely for me. It also, it is a castle wheel, and the foot treadles fold up so it can go into a bag, and it is easily transportable. I love this wheel. I've gone in and out of spinning on it because sometimes I decide to spin on my other wheel, which is a Hansen mini spinner, and I have gone in and out of phases with the Hansen mini spinner where I wanted to spin all my singles on it, or I just wanted to ply on it. Of late, for the last year or two, I have really been spinning almost all on my treadle wheel. And if I'm spinning 4 ounces, I just go ahead and break it into 2 and ply it on my treadle wheel as well. And there is something very soothing about that. I love the rhythm of it. I do love my mini spinner. I don't have a good reason for why I haven't been using it, other than that I don't know, I just kind of got back to my treadle wheel and packed it up and didn't think about it. And I am going to pull it out for this one though, because the benefit of the mini spinner is that those bobbins are 8 ounces. And so because I can fit 4 or a little bit more than 4 on these bobbins, but I would actually like this skein that I'm going to ply together to be all one skein, to not have any breaks in it. That is a bonus to me. I could ply it back onto 2 skeins, but I don't want to. So I'm going to take those 2 skeins, which is about 7 ounces of fiber, and I'm going to go ahead and throw that on my mini spinner. And my mini spinner for plying is great. It goes ultra fast. I think maybe I spin on my treadle wheel a little bit more for singles, because I feel like I have more control over my singles. Now that is not, there are plenty of people who spin singles on an e-spinner and love doing it, and so I am not detracting from that at all. I feel like I can have more control when I can actually just stop my feet and stop treadling, whereas with the electric wheel, I actually have to like turn it off. But on the other hand, for plying, it's really great because I don't ever have to take a break in plying because it just keeps going because it's electric. So it'll just keep going at the same speed and I just have to keep feeding it in and I don't have to adjust or stop or slow down or nothing. So although sometimes I guess there are times that I wish I could slow down. But so my plan is to pull that out. It hasn't been out in a little while, but my plan is to pull that out, dust it off. It's technically being stored in a case, so it's not dusty, but plan it out, dust it off, and pull it out, dust it off, and go ahead and ply this week. And then I'm going to go ahead and start spinning singles for my chicken on my wheel. And in that case, I guess actually I could ply that on the mini spinner as well, because I think I have about 8 ounces of fiber, in which case I could spin 4 on each bobbin and then just ply together. So my mini spinner will see a little bit of action. I like the wheel. Like I said, I don't have a good reason for when I pick it up and put it away. I have gone in and out over the years, which I prefer at which time. So we'll see. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll pull it out and I'll get so enamored of it, I'll go back to that. So quick sip of coffee, and then I will show you the quilting that I've been doing. So in the last several weeks of episodes, I have talked a little bit about the challenge that I'm doing for the Quilt Guild featuring negative space. And I have talked on several podcasts now about what negative space is. But I wanted to show you because I am at least a good chunk of the way done on this quilt. I have a couple decisions to make on what I want to do. And the next guild meeting is May 8th. So I have a couple weeks to kind of finish this up. So we have been challenged to create a quilt that is features negative space, and the quilt can be no more than 24 by 24 inches. And I had a variety of ideas, and I think I talked about it last week and said that the first idea I had didn't work at all, and the second idea has actually worked really nicely. And I am very pleased with it. So last weekend I put I put the top of the quilt together, and this weekend I sandwiched it all together with the backing, and I went ahead and quilted it. And I had sort of decided on what design I wanted to do, and I used some painter's tape and some lines, and so I should say, well, okay, I'll show it first and then I'll talk about the things. So this is my quilt. So my negative space is the white star in the middle of all of this busy fabric. I basically created this as a series of 16 squares. Many of them are half square triangle squares. Some of them are whole squares. And so this is a 4x4, and then I added about an inch border. So all told, this ends up being about 18 inches by 18 inches. And this weekend I did all of the quilting, which is I did all of these kind of diamond shapes here in the star. And then the other thing that you can't really see, but I went in and I did the seams at the corners, and then I also did it in on the triangles. I think you can kind of see that. Actually, the really cool thing is that the back looks amazing. So check that out. You can see the whole thing on the back everywhere I quilted. Isn't that cool? I love it. I'm very, very excited about it. I am really super pleased with this. Now, I will say, I still have a lot to learn in quilting. I want to preface this by saying that. There are a lot of faults with this, and I am still really, really pleased with it. So, first of all, my block isn't perfect. You can see that there are areas where my block points don't line up. You can see, for instance, right up here at the top, everything isn't quite right. And you can see actually at the middle, my 4 points don't line up exactly. So I am still learning, and it's really hard to match points all the way across. In some places, they line up really well, like at the corner here of this star, like everything lines up really beautifully there. Everything actually lines up pretty well here. And in here, like there are just different spots in each thing. Many times they line up quite well. Sometimes they don't line up exactly perfectly. Given that not everything lines up perfectly, I am really happy with the way I managed to get the lines in here and how I managed to get them pretty darn straight. They are not 100% straight. I got that. They wobble a little bit, but for the most part, when you look at this, they look pretty straight. And this is coming from someone who claimed that she couldn't sew straight lines. So, and I will also say that I did not draw these lines on with a ruler. There is a spot where I placed tape. I placed tape to guide me in this section right here so that I could do these lines, but all of the remainder of the lines, I lined up the edge of my foot with the edge of the fabric here, and I used that, and I still maintained pretty straight lines there. So I am really, really happy with that. You can tell because my fabric placement wasn't perfect. You can tell that there are some areas where there's a little bit of extra fabric and it's a little bit puckery. That's another thing that I am working with and learning on. But overall, I am really, really pleased with this, and I think it looks really cool. So, decision points. At this point, I am 95% sure I'm going to leave this the way it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim all around this and square it up, and then I'm going to put the binding on. And again, I am 95% sure that I'm going to use a black binding because I want to set it apart and almost make it look like a picture frame. And I think a black binding will do that. I did not use black on the back. I thought about it, but I didn't have as much black fabric as I thought I did. And I kind of want to use it for the backing for something else. And so this is the backing that I used on my last charity quilt. And I had a square that was almost just the right size. Like, it's a little bit bigger, but the square is probably 22, 23, but it worked perfectly for my 18-inch quilt. So I'm really happy about that. So I think I'm going to add black binding. The only other thing I might do that I have been thinking about is whether I want to echo these quilt lines in here. So whether I want to make more diamonds in here and more square lines here and more lines in these triangles. And those are called echo lines because they would echo the lines that are already there. But I think I might leave it minimalist and make it kind of a less is more. And So I don't think that this is kind of the most exciting thing that I could have done for this project. There are a variety of other ways I could have shown negative space, and other people who had really creative ideas who wanted to make political statements and do other things with their quilts. This is just a very, I would say this is a pretty rendition of like a very basic block that I kind of just wanted to play with. But I am pleased with it because I think it had me work on my techniques. I am better than I have done in the past quilts. Like, they line up more than they have. I got my half square triangles really nice. Most of my points look good. And I was just really, really pleased to put the walking foot on my machine and be able to do these straight lines and have it not like be too puckery in the quilt. And I'm kind of pleased with this as an exercise. So I will finish this up probably next weekend, and then I will bring it back to show you. And I will show it off at Guild in May. And then I don't know exactly what I'll do with it. I'll probably put it someplace small, maybe hang it up on the wall. I don't know. It probably won't go up in this spot right next to me because this is actually a slightly bigger spot. The quilt frame that I have is 36 inches and I can get up to a 40 by 40 inch quilt. I actually have an idea to redo this star bigger size and put it on my wall. And I bought some Anna Maria Horner. Well, now she's Anna Maria Perry, but I bought some Anna Maria Horner echinacea fabric. I have always, always, always loved her echinacea fabric. I'll bring it next week so I can show you, so you can see. You've probably seen it. She's done it in a whole rainbow of colors, and it's just absolutely freaking amazing. And I have a couple ideas for how to do it. So I bought a yard of fabric, and I think I can make one out of a yard of fabric that I really want on the wall, or I think I have a fat quarter bundle and I can make it of all the different colors, and I just don't know what I'm going to do. So that is kind of my thought in terms of how I'm going to go about what comes next. But we're just going to have to see and take it as it comes. So that is where I think I'll leave you for today. 30 minutes is long enough. I hope that you have a lovely week ahead. I hope that you're enjoying crafting, trying some new things, settling into some old comfortable things. And I will talk to you again soon. So I will say, as I always do, happy knitting, happy spinning, happy sipping, and I'll see you next time. Bye.